Many were looking forward to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse this year, but sadly the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse will not be out until next year. As Sony announced, the movie around Miles Morales has been postponed from October 2022 to June 2nd, 2023, and the follow-up to it will then be released on March 29th, 2024. Other Sony movies are also affected by rescheduling, including, for example, Lyle Crocodile, which will now take the place of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse on October 7th, 2022. Regarding two other films, there's now an official release date, one for Madame Web on July 7th, 2023, and the other for The Equalizer 3 on September 1st, 2023. Many fans are annoyed by the significantly longer waiting period for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. However, it must also be said that the sequel will have to follow in very big footsteps. Next year, the second part is to be shown in theaters with a planned release date of June 2nd. We will know more as soon as the next trailer comes out, and at the latest in June 2023 when the film hits theaters. It's not only stockbrokers who have been rejoicing recently in view of the billion-dollar merger between Warner Bros. And DC. Movie fans can also look forward to the near future. The new company, Warner Bros. Discovery, is now run by Discovery boss David Zaslav, who has big plans for the DC universe. Apparently, he wants to max out the full potential of the DC Comics characters together with the previous DC boss Walter Hamada. Since 2018, Hamada has been in an executive position at DC and can chalk up major successes such as Joker from 2019. In addition, the strategy pursued under him was to also conceive a streaming spin-off for every DC film if possible, as can be seen in Peacemaker or the upcoming Penguin series, for example. However, Zaslav is said to particularly have cast an eye on Superman, as the character is in urgent need of revival and is accordingly at the top of the priority list. The new boss is also believed to be currently on the outlook for a counterpart to Marvel boss Kevin Feige, who for years has ensured that all MCU movies and series are linked together and keeps production running smoothly. We are excited to see how the DC universe will develop under the new management and look forward to much more content from the likes of Superman, Batman, and others in the future. Last year, Netflix was still expecting 2.5 million new users in the first quarter of 2022, but in the meantime, the responsible parties are looking at considerably alarming figures. For the first time since October 2011, the streaming giant has lost more subscribers than it has gained, with nearly 200,000 users lost globally. In addition, the stock price plunged by more than 30%, which not only gives shareholders an uneasy feeling. Reportedly, the first high-ranking employee has already had to leave the company. The talk is of Phil Rinder, who used to be the head of creative development at the animation department. The top management at Netflix in particular has been under fire when it comes to dealing with employees from the animation branch. It is said that entire projects have been dropped several times simply because the people in charge were not pleased with the user statistics, even if the films and series were highly praised by critics and audiences. Talented screenwriters and animation specialists were lured with unequaled freedom only to discover that the slightest deviation from previously predicted figures put an end to their work. In fact, struggling in-house productions are being unconditionally cancelled rather than supported by Netflix, further damaging the streaming service image. Others, though, suspect that the causes of the disastrous collapse in subscriber numbers are external factors such as the Ukraine crisis or the service's suspension in Russia. Also, the tests currently underway in the South American countries such as Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru to increase the pricing of shared Netflix accounts are not met with enthusiasm. In addition, a system is being planned in which users pay a slightly lower price but see ads in return. None of this seems to be well received by customers, so many are switching to competitors like Disney Plus or Amazon Prime Video. After all, the selection of streaming services is larger than ever. A Minecraft movie has been in the works since 2014, but not much has happened in the past few years. The last time Variety reported about the potential plot of the film was almost precisely 3 years ago, which was set to revolve around a teenage girl who has to face the notorious Ender Dragon together with her friends. Now, The Hollywood Reporter shares more news about the long-term project. According to sources, Aquaman star Jason Momoa has been signed on for the lead role in the movie. Under the direction of Jared Hess, however, Momoa will not be seen as a pixelated and blocky hero, but as a normal live-action character. This has already been confirmed in the past by the Minecraft studio Mojang, as they didn't want a movie that was too close to the video game original, otherwise the result would be an endless movie with few details. In fact, the options for telling a classic story in the Minecraft universe while staying close to the original seem almost impossible. Exactly when the film will be released in theaters and whether the information about the plot is still up to date is unfortunately not known at the moment. In a few weeks, the new MCU series Ms. Marvel will be released on Disney+. There's hardly any time left to promote the MCU debutant. Disney must have thought so too, thus last Tuesday they shared another poster via Twitter showing all the main characters of the series together. The content is as in the comic book original about the Muslim schoolgirl Kamala Khan, who has to deal with the typical problems of a teenager: pressure to perform, anxiety about the future, and her first great love. As you can easily tell from the superhero name, she emulates her great role model Captain Marvel, about whom she regularly writes fanfiction. One day her wish for her own superpowers comes true and she is faced with much bigger problems. After all, life with these powers is not quite so simple. In addition to Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan, we will also be able to see Aramis Knight, Saga Shaikh, Risha, and many other not yet quite so well-known actors in this series. Gathering behind the camera will be showrunner and writer Bisha K. Ali, along with 4 directors Adil Al-Arbi, Bilal Falah, Mira Manan, and Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy. Ms. Marvel will be available on Disney Plus starting June 8th, 2022. As we recently reported, filming on The Witcher Season 3 has been ongoing since the beginning of this month, and those responsible recently announced via Twitter a total of 4 new actors who will enrich the story. Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City actor Robbie Amell plays Galadin, a warrior of the Scoia'tael who goes into battle for Nilfgaard as the antagonist of the elven sorceress Francesca. Amell is joined by Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings actress Manger Zhang, who embodies the talented archer Milva. The cast also features Les Miserables actor Hugo Skinner as Prince Rodovit, son of King Vizimir, and, without question, the playboy of the royal family. Lastly, there's the young star Christelle Elven, who has only been seen in Bloods and Royal Shakespeare Company Much Ado About Nothing. She will play the teenage Missile, who is a member of the infamous Gang of Rats. Said gang follows a sort of weird Robin Hood ethos, stealing from the sometimes more and sometimes less wealthy in order to enrich themselves. So far, it sounds pretty promising. We're definitely curious to see how big the roles of the new characters are going to be, and we will keep you posted on further information from the shooting. In 1999, the surprise hit The Blair Witch Project generated the record-breaking sum of $248 million with an almost ridiculous budget of $60,000. The movie was not only a milestone in horror film history in terms of sales revenue, however, but also with regard to its method of production. The found footage technique inspired later films like Paranormal Activity and Cloverfield, and was able to breathe new life into the horror genre. After the 2 films, Book of Shadows and Blair Witch 3 were neither financially nor atmospherically as convincing as the original, Lionsgate is now working on another sequel, according to Jeff Snyder of The Ankler. Fans of the original movie, meanwhile, are hoping for the involvement of the Blair Witch Project directors Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez, who were only marginally involved in the 2 sequels. Given Snyder's tweet, it is considered likely that the new Blair Witch film will get a streaming release and thus won't be running in theaters at all. We're still waiting for an official confirmation of the rumor anyway, and are going to keep you up to date. Many know the brand Exploding Kittens either as a card or mobile game. Netflix also seems to have noticed the popularity of the Exploding Cats, and as a result, the Twitter account Netflix Geek announced the cast for the planned comedy series in animation format this past Monday. A matching game is also supplied by Netflix directly. It is slightly different from the one already available and is planned for release this May. The voice actors for the series will include Lucifer actor Tom Ellis, Rhodes and Bridges actor Abraham Lim, and Ally Mackey, who already excelled as Giggle McDimples in Toy Story 4. The Office producer Greg Daniels and Silicon Valley creator Mike Judge are in charge of production. In terms of content, Exploding Kittens revolves around a duel between God and the devil that is fought through the bodies of obese cats on Earth. That sounds pretty funky, so we're eagerly awaiting more news. This series is scheduled for release on Netflix later in 2023. That's it for the news this week. If you're an MCU fan, you should definitely watch the new trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder on the channel, as it has finally released. And by the way, if you haven't been to the movie theater yet to watch The Bad Guys, or you can't decide whether it is even a good idea to give it a go, then you might be interested in watching our 6-minute clip that shows the opening scene of the film. You won't regret it, it is truly amusing.